Hi, everyone. Michael Swensson from M31 Capital here. It's great to be part of the summit again this year, and I look forward to speaking with everyone about M31 Capital, who we are, what we do, and how to get more involved and get connected with us. So let me maybe just give a little background on M31 Capital first. So we are a global investment firm focused exclusively on disruptive, decentralized finance and Web3 technologies. We launched back in January 2020. I'm one of the two co-founders. Nathan Montone is my other co-founder. Nathan is a very early Bitcoin adopter and investor since 2010, 2011 timeframe. And I come from over 2 decades of experience and background in traditional finance. Prior to launching M31 Capital, I spent about 5 years over at Bridgewater Associates as the COO. And then prior to that, working at Goldman Sachs, AllianceBernstein, a bunch of other big banks and institutions. And largely my career has been focused on, building and running best-in-class operations, as well as building and implementing risk and security oversight programs that go hand in glove with those operations. And so the whole foundation of M31 Capital was very explicit in the sense that, I come from a very traditional finance background. Nathan comes from a very crypto native background. And together, M31 Capital, the goal and the vision was to create an institutional grade fund in this new emerging asset class where we see a ton of excitement and innovation happening every single day. M31 Capital, before I get into some of our products, we have a global team, about 10 or 12 of us spread across both coasts of the US, as well as in India, China, Korea, in the Middle East. And we have a couple different institutional grade products that we offer to accredited investors around the world. We have both a Bitcoin only index fund, essentially a pseudo Bitcoin ETF fund, which is the lowest cost, high security way to buy and store Bitcoin, which a lot of our investors love to use for wealth preservation, inheritance planning, things like that. Where we spend most of our time is in our liquid venture funds, which you can see here on the slide in the middle. We have 2 different liquid venture funds, one focused exclusively on decentralized finance, what we call DeFi. And essentially the best way to describe that is, the future next generation of Wall Street. So everything that you can do today in Wall Street and traditional finance, but done on a decentralized blockchain technology. So these are things like fixed income, asset management, derivatives, DEXs, lending and borrowing protocols. That's the ecosystem we're investing in. And the whole idea behind these projects is, they are competing with traditional finance, traditional products. And the whole idea behind DeFi is it offers products that are faster, cheaper, more user-friendly, more private, more secure alternatives. And so that's a lot of our thesis is how to drive those protocols forward, how to help institutions of all sizes adopt DeFi protocols as part of their everyday use. And then the second liquid venture fund focuses exclusively on Web3. And Web3 is essentially the best way to think about it is the future of Silicon Valley, right? So this is the next iteration, next version of the internet that we know today, but very similar to DeFi, new innovative products that are decentralized, built on the blockchain, and allow users to not just invest and participate, but also get incentivized from the data that they provide back to the internet. And so Web3 is kind of a combination of, early days Web 1, that peer-to-peer, private, secure internet, as well as some of the aspects from Web 2, the user interface, accessibility, all together, bringing together the best parts of both Web 1 and Web 2 into Web 3. And so that fund, same as the DeFi fund, invests in liquid tokens only. And it invests across both the infrastructure layer, the building blocks of the new internet. That's things like, decentralized file storage, decentralized rendering, video transcoding, you name it, but all the building blocks of the new internet, as well as some of the first consumer-facing applications that are now being built and deployed and used by hundreds and thousands and millions of people around the world. And so those are, those liquid venture funds are kind of where we spend most of our time. Both of those funds have been up and running for several years. And we'll get into a little bit more details here in a second. The last product I'll just mention quickly is we also have at M31 a whole ventures arm. So it's called M31 Ventures. This is where we get access to, very early stage private equity deals across, the blockchain ecosystem. And we syndicate those out to investors within one of the funds. So if you're an investor in the Bitcoin fund, the DeFi fund, or Web3 fund, you get first access and exclusive access to co-investment opportunities throughout the year. And we syndicate about, 6 to 7 or 8 of those a year, high quality, private equity deals. And so it's kind of the ecosystem of M31 Capital as of today. What I'll talk about a little bit here, just to kind of zoom into the two sectors that we primarily focus on, which is, again, decentralized finance and Web3. Kind of zooming out here, you can see the crypto sphere is massive. It's growing every single day. There's new innovations and new technologies coming to the market. But we were very explicit on day one not to try to be experts in everything. We are experts in DeFi and Web3. And we also think those are the fastest growing, most asymmetric segments of the crypto space, which should offer the highest relative outperformance versus the broader market. And so those are the two sectors that we focus on. Pretty exclusively. We don't touch, NFTs or gaming or, art related projects. And again, it's not because we don't find them interesting. It's just, we try to stay somewhat niche focused. Each of those portfolios of ours, they're relatively concentrated books, probably, 15 to 20 core holdings, maybe another 10 or so long tail assets in there. And again, the whole idea behind that is we're not trying to be a spray and pray fund. We're trying to be very selective in the projects that we're investing in. And then we don't just invest and hope that price appreciates, right? We find ways to get actively involved on chain and off chain. And that's what we call our active network participation. So I'll just jump down quickly to that slide and then we can come back. So this is our investment strategy, and it's all geared around getting actively involved, hands-on, resource-intensive, value-add investors in this space. And so we do that a lot of different ways, right? So things on-chain could include things like mining Bitcoin or running an Ethereum validator node, or staking certain protocols, or providing liquidity on different platforms, or decentralized exchanges. And so by doing those activities, as you can see in the slide, we gain a huge informational advantage because we learn a lot more about how they work. We become not just investors, but users of the platform. And also by participating and help bootstrap the networks of these protocols, we gain additional token yield every single hour of every single day without putting additional capital to work, which then flows directly back into the fund and back to our investors. And so it's a very unique strategy that is really only available in this asset class. And it's the best and only way to really participate and squeeze as much of those returns that you can out of the space, while also helping grow and scale the projects from early stage to mid stage to large cap. So that's a little bit about our strategy. I'll talk for a second here just on the two funds. Again, the DeFi Opportunity Fund, it's open to accredited investors around the world. We accept new investors on the first of each month. And with that fund, it comes with it's a high liquid vehicle. So it comes with a 12-month lockup with quarterly redemption gates post that 12-month lockup. But again, the whole idea on that lockup is just to set expectations that, that we don't want people to come in and think this is a short-term investment. We see this as a decade plus 2-3 decades long until our theses play out in the space. And so we are really trying to build long-term partnerships with our investors, build long-term success use cases and scenarios with the projects we're investing in, and really trying to get them, to mainstream adoption, both for individuals and institutions alike. The Web3 fund is very similarly structured. Again, new investors on the first of each month. It's got the same lockup period, same terms and conditions. But both of those funds, again, are open and accepting new investors every single month. Still have capacity in those. Last thing I'd probably say a little bit here on, just a little bit on our risk management focus, right? And I think last year we saw a lot of carnage in the space. Obviously, we had a lot of macro concerns going on with, rate hikes and monetary tightening and what have you, and wars going on around the world. But for us, last year was a standout year, right? Because thanks to our rigorous due diligence and risk management policies and procedures, M31 Capital avoided exposure to every major collapse in 2022. We have very strict mandates in terms of how we invest, where we invest, as well as mandates within our portfolio, right? To ensure that we're not overexposed to any given project or any given blockchain. And so I like to bring up this slide. It's not always the most fun slide to talk about, but it's a very important slide. Again, back to the fact that we are trying to create, and we have created, an institutional grade investment fund in this emerging asset class. And so for any investors that are looking to learn more about crypto, that are interested in the decentralized finance or the Web3 space as they continue to mature and evolve, we'd love to hear about you. And you can reach us directly at www.m31.capital. Out on our website, you'll see there's a page out on our website with our team, our global team, our contact information, as well as all of our research. So we push out a bunch of weekly research and monthly research to investors around the world. And the whole idea on that is to keep everyone informed on what's going on and what to be looking for as we continue to evolve in the space. And so I encourage people to reach out. We also post out on our website upcoming webinars and upcoming future co-investment opportunities and things like that. And so it's a great way to kind of get plugged into our ecosystem, as well as reach out directly if you'd like to have a call and set up a meeting and learn more about what we're doing in the space. So with that, I'll leave it there. Thanks again for including me in the summit, and I look forward to meeting everyone.